Desmos is an app that we use very often in maths. It's an advanced graphing calculator. We can input specific functions, and Desmos allows us to view these functions and see how they behave graphically. So at the moment I'm showing the line y equals 2x plus 1. A straight line equation, and it should be cut on the y-axis at 0, 1. If you highlight the specific points, you can see that it does indeed cut the y-axis at 0, 1. So it's a way of checking you're working and analysing specific graphs. We can generalise the straight line equation, y equals mx plus c. And these little sliders here allow us to change the gradient of the line. You can see it changes there. And as the gradient of 1 increases to a gradient of 2, you'll see the line gets steeper, so it's easy to form that link. And we can also move the line up and down as the y-intercept changes. So it's a visual representation of what that straight line would look like. We can also look at quadratic functions, y equals x squared, and it's really easy to change it, the coefficients, to look at y equals positive x squared, and we can change the nature of that turning point. And higher, we tend to look quite closely at cubic functions. In this case, x cubed plus 3x squared subtract 4, and at times we need to analyse the endpoints. So Desmos allows us to close off parts of the graph between the purple and the grey. And if we look a little bit closer, we can see quite clearly that there is a maximum point at 1, 0 and a minimum down here at 0, negative 4. And although we can do that algebraically, having the chance to look at it graphically helps the young people with their understanding. We can also look at trig functions. So if we were to change our parameters here and look at degrees, for example, we'll make sure we have increments of 90 degrees. And on the y-axis, increments of 1, and we'll change it to degrees. And looking at y equals sine x, immediately we can see that y equals sine x has 3 roots, and it has a maximum turning point at 90 degrees 1 and 270 degrees negative 1. We can change our amplitude of y equals 3 sine x, which increases the height of the graph. And we can also change the number of waves that we see within the graph, and you can see the benefits of being able to show the one graph at the same time. Again, we can generalise specific graphs. So in this case here, we've got y equals 3 sine 2x, and we can generalise that plus q at the end, which will be a vertical translation up and down, which again just helps young people understand what's happening to trig graphs. It's also got a huge array of presets here that we can move on to look at the circle, and we can look at a lot more things in there. It also has a calculator that works in the same way as your scientific calculator. So yeah, it's a very useful tool that we encourage young people to use whenever possible, not just in higher maths in 5th and 6th year, but also lower down the school.